Gear Patrol just called their ISO-certified dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. And their ceramic watch material almost magical. The Wall Street Journal called them iconoclastic cool, potentially redefining the industry itself. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. And they're leveling up your gift giving with the biggest deals of the holiday season and the sleekest watches around. Shop 30 to 60% off Movement's variety of designs, colorways, and functionalities. From the thinnest automatic dress watch under $500 to waterproof guarantee adventure-ready sport watches to rare ceramics, Movement's got options for everyone on your list. Whether you're gifting for family, friends, or yourself, be the good gifter this year with Movement's huge site-wide holiday sales and enjoy the usual fast and free shipping. Shop 30 to 60% off now at movement.com. That's MVMT.com.
In Wisconsin, a man is convicted of the murder of 2 after finding the victims in a compromising position. In Louisiana, the New Orleans Police Department pleads with the city council for more funding due to deplorable conditions inside the department itself, and 50 Cent accuses a liquor brand of embezzlement. These stories and more coming at you today, Monday, March 18th, on Real Life, Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Mike Agavino. We're getting Woody back next show, I think. Yes, we're getting Woody back next show. That's a promise. We're getting Woody back next show. Actually, we're going to have a fun time this week. We're going up to lovely Broussard, where the giant American flag is, and going to go see our friends, Roy, Kristen, and see if Jim or I pass out or
Jim is going to stay in the lobby
first. Well,
Jim is going to let you go in. Jim is not going to go look it up.
Jim is forfeiting the match.
Jim is
very
forfeiting.
Unlike Jim to forfeit the match.
I don't want to see things I can't unsee. Let's put it that way.
I've got several contraptions that I'm going to work. I've got the Vicks stuff for under my nose. I've got a clothespin to shut the nose completely because Woody says I have to breathe out of my mouth. So I'm prepared.
We'll go into it. A Green Bay, Wisconsin story, and a jury has found a man guilty this week of murder and several other charges for killing his girlfriend and her friend after he found them in the midst of a sexual act. Brown County court records show that Richard Sotka was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide with the use of a dangerous weapon, criminal damage to property, and multiple counts of bail jumping for the deaths of Rhonda Sigelski and Paula O'Connor. One of the homicide charges also had a domestic abuse modifier to it. Deputies responded to a duplex and they found the 2 women deceased. Police identified Sotka as the suspect and learned he might be traveling through Arkansas. Law enforcement officials in Arkansas then conducted a traffic stop and arrested Sotka the same day.
Wow.
He wasn't a very good escapee. I mean, usually you get away for longer than that, but thankfully he did not. Sigelski's daughter and her friend called police after finding them stabbed to death. O'Connor reportedly still had the knife in her neck.
Oof.
Sigelski and O'Connor both sustained stab wounds to the face and the neck. Sotka got out of the shower and he walked in on the 2 women in a compromising position. The Green Bay Press reported that Sotka admitted he snapped and told police, "I'm guilty of killing these girls, but I'm not guilty of what they said I did." He was out on bond for stalking and other charges when the killings occurred and was required to wear an ankle monitor, which he cut off after fleeing the scene. About 20 years ago, Sotka snapped in a similar way in an incident with his then-girlfriend. He reportedly broke her leg, fractured her skull, and hit out some of her teeth. Sotka will remain in custody without bond until his sentence hearing in May. So this guy went absolutely berserko on these 2 women.
Sure did. Green Bay, I mean, that's, the home of business.
Yeah, and we just covered another story from Green Bay, from a at least a Wisconsin individual that was pretty. I don't know what's going on in the cheese.
Well,
over there.
if the team's not winning, then the natives get restless up there, and bad stuff starts happening. I wonder how they're going to feel about Aaron Rodgers being RFK Jr.'s vice presidential nominee.
Rodgers.
If that happens,
That ain't gonna happen.
If that happens,
you believe anything, would you?
Well, he said it. I mean, it's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. It's something that he said, along with Jesse Ventura. So, you know,
It really doesn't matter because neither one of them will win.
If you got to pick a running mate, I mean, you taking Jesse, who's got to be, I think he's got to be 70 at least these days, right?
Yeah, he's a big conspiracy theorist, Jesse Ventura.
You taking Jesse or you taking
Tonka incident, the Gulf of Tonka.
Aaron needs to play more than 4 plays this year. He probably doesn't need to be running for vice president.
I don't know. But I will say that Brett Favre is my favorite player of all time.
You have said that before, yeah.
And he was a Green Bay god for a long time.
He was. And now they got themselves their third great quarterback with Jordan Love. So they know how to get quarterbacks
I know.
up there.
Bart Starr.
They also know how to commit gruesome crimes for seemingly stupid reasons. But
yeah,
let's go to Hawaii, where no bad stuff ever happens, right? I mean, you know, everybody walks around with those Hawaiian print shirts, go to the beach, a little surfing, a mahi-mahi sandwich at lunch, a little late hula, some pineapple, a couple macadamias, and you're good, right?
Mecca Kalikimaka.
Well, some bad shit happened here. So police are investigating the death of 5 people in Honolulu, including 3 children, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 17-year-old, all as part of an apparent murder-suicide. The incident occurred on Sunday morning, local time in Hawaii. Police discovered the bodies of the 3 unidentified children, a wife, and a husband inside the home just after 9 a.m. All 5 family members were pronounced dead at the scene. Honolulu PD said that the office received an anonymous call around 8:30 a.m. and an officer responded to the scene. Honolulu Police Department Lieutenant Dina Tomei said, based upon the evidence found at the scene and the investigation thus far, it appears that the adult male killed the female and the juveniles with a knife that was recovered from the scene. The motive is still under investigation. These don't appear to be random acts. Well, sure doesn't sound like it. The police are conducting interviews and reviewing security camera footage as the investigation continues. And like I said, they do not have a clear motive. Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi also issued a statement about the case, saying that he was heartbroken by the tragic incident that occurred early this morning in the peaceful Manoa neighborhood, claiming the lives of an entire family, including 3 precious children. According to police, this is the deadliest mass murder in Honolulu since 7 people were shot dead in the Xerox murders of November 2nd, 1999. So 25 years since they've had this bad of a murder, this bad a mass shooting. Although police have yet to name the victims or the husband, some neighbors have spoken out saying that they believe one of the children attended the nearby elementary school and that the father was a local chiropractor. Police now say they are waiting for the report from the medical examiner's office before releasing all the family names. So this guy just wakes up on Sunday morning and decides to take his entire family out with a knife.
And then kills himself.
Sitting there in beautiful Honolulu. And then, yes, he...
but
his goodbyes to the world as well.
I'll never understand why these people look. If you're going to just kill yourself. Don't take all these people out with you. Horrible, awful situation.
Especially,
whole family ruined.
The kids. I mean, I don't know.
What did they do? Yeah,
whatever.
Horrible. We'll move on closer to home here, and that is New Orleans. And police in New Orleans are dealing with what they call deplorable conditions inside the department building, including a rat infestation. New Orleans PD Superintendent Anna Kirkpatrick describes the conditions inside the department's current headquarters building and evidence room. And here is what that sounded like during a New Orleans City Council meeting.
In the evidence property room that you took a tour of, I stopped you and I said, Councilmember, come back. I want you to see the tray of all of the
roaches.
Major rodents on the floor, the cockroaches, the rats eating our marijuana. They're all high.
That's right. The rats are eating the marijuana and they are all high.
It would be pretty cool to get high with rats, though, don't you think?
But you got a major problem when you got high rats eating all your evidence. I mean, they don't stop at just the marijuana. So she said all of that during the council meeting, and that also the NOPD is grappling with the decrepit facilities across the board. No air conditioning, broken elevators, and filthy conditions in addition to the evidence rooms.
Wait, broken air conditioners or no air conditioners?
No air conditioning.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm sure she meant broken. I'm sure they had it at some point. But her quote was no air conditioning. Broke elevators and filthy conditions in addition to the evidence rooms being infested with rodents. Kirkpatrick elaborated on a $7.6 million plan to lease 2 floors of the DXC building on Poydras Street, which would house dozens of police administrators who are dealing with substandard facilities at the NOPD's current headquarters. The council will consider allocating new money to relocate a portion of NOPD headquarters, but the chief says much more is needed. Despite these problems, Kirkpatrick said the city's murder rate has dropped 38%, and the city is also seeing large drops in rape, armed robbery, and carjackings. But the rodents are high and numerous in the facility.
Maybe the rats are scaring away the bad guys.
But this is actually in the facility, in the headquarters.
No, I
jail.
understand, but maybe they're just breeding lots of high rats, and
well, maybe
the
so,
marijuana rats are affecting crime in the area. I don't know.
But all joking aside, you need to address this.
Yeah, that's
if
horrible.
you've got a rodent infestation in your department headquarters, you need to address that. City council needs to put some money. They make plenty of money in New Orleans with their tourism. They need to take some of that and allocate, at least have a decent facility for these people to work in. Well, Jesus.
They don't make plenty. I mean, they've got fiscal problems, but I don't know if they're going to find $7.6 million, but they've got to find some serious money. You can't do that. I mean, you can't work in those conditions. At some point, someone's going to get
they definitely make more money off tourism than any other city in the state. And Denham Springs Police Department ain't got a rodent problem. I mean, you're telling me NOPD's got to have one? The city as a whole, I feel bad for those cops.
Is a breeding ground for rodents.
Sure. It's under one of those sea level.
I had one of those nutria things.
Mm-hmm. Nutria rat. Mm-hmm. Nutria rat.
Yeah, the size of a freaking dog. That was. You can eat the fucking thing. I'd eat your whooping cream before I'd eat that freaking thing. But it was under, because all of these houses are lifted and they've all got crawl spaces. And, over time, if you're not paying really close attention, you get a little crack somewhere where a rodent can get in there. And
you had a nutria?
Yeah, and the freaking thing was not the slightest bit scared of me or anybody else. I mean, the first day I noticed it literally, I was on the sidewalk out front. I later discovered where it lived, which was in the back of the house. It walked right by me and went to this tree. And I'm like, what the? And I'd never heard of one of a nutria before that moment. And I thought, that's the biggest rat I've ever seen. And he just went right by this big tree. And I don't know if he went to the bathroom or what he did. He's by the tree for a minute, and I just stood there looking at him, and then he just crossed right by me again on the sidewalk and walked right back through the yard.
Well, here's a point of fact. The nutria rat problem used to be so bad in that area, and really a lot of areas across the state, that they would pay you $25 for each one you would kill. The state of Louisiana, you could bring them in a bag. I've got 7 nutria rats, and you would make $150
It's like
or
the
whatever,
tail, right? You just have to
$200.
bring the tail, and they pay you for the tail or something. Somebody was telling me that.
May have been just the tail, but yeah, they will pay you for it. They've since stopped that. Maybe they need to start it back up.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Yeah, maybe, and that may be, those rats might be those nutria rats down there.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely nasty looking creatures. They're like the size of, for those that don't know what we're talking about, they're like the size of big cats.
Yeah, look it up.
Or
These
bigger.
things are not attractive.
Yeah, they're like gigantic rats. I mean, that's what they look like.
Not attractive creatures.
Nah, nothing cute about them. They're not like your pet.
Rats are really smart. I mean,
they're smart. That's why they do you notice all the tests that they give humans, they give rats first.
Do they have Doritos in that room as well? Did the rats
I'm sure they
bring
do.
in some Doritos? And okay.
Doritos.
The first thing a good rat reaches for after they get high.
Maybe we'll post a picture of a neutral rat on the Facebook.
Let's do that. Let's talk about 50 Cent. You know that he was shot 9 times once?
Yep, he talks about it in several of his songs. So, Tupac was shot 5.
I know. But, a guy that gets shot 9 times and lives through is probably not a guy you want to F with.
No, he's from Jamaica, 50 Cent.
Yeah. Well, he sent a warning to the parent company of his liquor brand. This is a crazy story. He's alleging that Beam Suntory, BEAMSUNTORY, which is the distribution company that he used to distribute his brand, which is called Sire Spirits. He's saying that Sire, so that's his brand, was involved in an embezzlement scheme that cost him millions of dollars. He went on to Instagram on Monday and posted that the company would have to pay for what they did. He wrote in the Instagram message, Beam Suntory is going to pay for what they did. Trust me. These big companies think they can get away with anything. It has cost me millions in legal fees. They're going to find out that I'm not the one you want to play with. I'm not the guy you want to get started in the nicest way possible. I'm going to need my money by Monday. So that's a threat. That's a serious threat there from the big guy. So 50 also shared a letter on Instagram that Beam Suntory sent their alleged co-conspirators. So this is Beam sending a letter back to Sire Spirits. This is the letter Beam Suntory sent without my knowledge to the people involved in the scheme that cost me millions. Do I really need to hold a press conference to walk everyone through exactly what happened? This will make a great unscripted project. 50 initially filed a complaint back in February of 23 with the New York State Supreme Court, where he alleged that Beam Suntory was complicit in an embezzlement scheme. He alleges that Sire Spirits, that's his brand, overpaid for the liquor that was supplied to them and took kickbacks of about $6 million. So this is a co-conspiracy between, with the accusation, between some people who actually worked at his brand, Sire Spirits, and people who worked at the distributor, this Beam Suntory. Because these illicit commissions were baked into the price of the product, Sire Spirits then overpaid on taxes, overpaid on customs and duties, overpaid for our insurance, which marked towards the value of the product. Sire Spirits attorney Craig Weiner said all that in a statement. He added that Beam Suntory's role here is extraordinarily troubling. Beam Suntory's chief commercial officer, a gentleman by the name of Julius Grant, acting as an employee, as an officer of the company, acting under the actual and parent authority of Beam Suntory, facilitated the entire fraud as we pleaded in our complaint. Beam Suntory vehemently denied all allegations of wrongdoing on Tuesday in an email response. Beam Suntory vehemently denies all allegations of wrongdoing. It had no involvement in or knowledge of fraudulent activity alleged in the complaint, and any allegation to the contrary has no basis in fact. It is undisputed that we honored our prior obligations to Mr. Jackson, that's 50 Cent, and Sire Spirits. It is very unfortunate that the parties involved continue to misrepresent the facts and misdirect blame in an attempt to recover fees and damages. Sire Spirits attorney, the Weiner guy, responded saying, Sire Spirits alleges and expects to prove at trial that the affirmative acts undertaken by multiple Beam Suntory executives, including but not limited to its former chief commercial officer, its chief strategy officer, and others working in concert with them, cost Sire millions of dollars and did irreparable harm to Mr. Jackson's business. Mitchell Green, a former employee at Sire Spirits, previously pleaded guilty to wire fraud for his role in the alleged kickback scheme. He stole $2 million from the liquor brand. So for the folks at Beam Suntory to deny any of this is kind of difficult to see when they've already got somebody from the other side who's pleaded guilty and admitted to stealing $2 million in this thing. So this is actually going to the New York Supreme Court. The case is set to go to jury in early 2025. Don't mess around with 50 Cent.
Nah, man, 50. Look, let me tell you something. One of the only people I've ever heard of to stand up to Suge Knight was 50 Cent. And Suge Knight went to intimidate him in a bar in New York City. And 50 just looked at him. He didn't run. He didn't do anything. He's not easy to intimidate. And look, they got a lot.
Remind me to tell you the story of my man Bone Sloan and
you told me about that.
How he stood up to Suge. That's a long
Suge's
one,
in jail now because of Bones and another gentleman that was killed.
Bone refused to testify, though. He did not testify at Suge's trial.
No, but the video pretty much was enough. They didn't need it. But I'll tell you, a lot going on in that world right now. And look, people, this wasn't on our schedule, I guess, to talk about today. But just a quick mention: if all of you out there need to pay a whole lot of attention right now to what is going on with Sean Diddy Combs, who is the founder of Bad Boy Records. It may shock you the stuff that's going down. There was more stuff released just a couple of days ago. I'm doing a series. It's exposed scandalous files of the elite, and I'm covering P. Diddy right now. And every time I go to do another episode, something else comes out. That's how crazy this is right now. As a matter of fact, Candace Owens was reporting on it and actually said yesterday it will be her last episode because she's actually fearful of reporting any more information about. She said that, huh? Yeah, on her show, which is surprising because Candace is tough. And she said, I just don't feel safe even reporting on any of this anymore. It is getting up there with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Mm-hmm. Some of it is kid involved. So anyway, we'll get off that subject.
Almost at the level of the Kate Middleton stuff.
Kate Middleton.
Almost.
What Kate Middleton?
Princess Kate.
I don't know anything about it.
Where is Princess Kate?
I don't know anything about that.
This is the biggest scandal in the globe right now.
Oh,
Jim.
I don't follow.
Get wired in.
I don't follow the rules.
Well, and I'm, of course, unable to do stuff I'm not allowed to
That's right.
report. So,
especially without Woody here,
the audience is going to have to keep wondering.
So we'll move on, and we're
really up with Kate.
We're going to talk about Peeper in North Carolina, and a North Carolina man is facing felony charges for filming boys in a hockey arena bathroom after one victim's father spotted his camera under a stall. Charlotte police arrested John Cutter, who is 61, on March 8th after carrying out a search warrant on his home. There, they found 7 videos taken in several restrooms at Bojangles Coliseum featuring children using urinals. Police launched this investigation after a father contacted them on February 24th, saying that he observed a hand in a recording device similar to a GoPro going underneath the stall while he and his 11-year-old son waited for the boy's 12-year-old friend to finish using the bathroom. The father told police that he confronted the man, who then walked away. I can't believe, I'd have beat the shit out that guy, but whatever. At that point, the father contacted security and police. The father confronted Cutter around 4:35 p.m., about 15 minutes after he and his children arrived at the venue. Security footage showed Cutter leaving the building at 4:47, so he knew, I just got caught doing this, and he left. Although they could not find the man in the arena, security footage allowed security staff to identify his car. Charlotte police ran the license plate and identified Cutter as that suspect. Cutter was previously charged with indecent liberties with a minor in 1999. The department wrote that in their affidavit. And in 2008, 2 police reports against Cutter involving children were filed. Why is this guy still running free is beyond me. In one instance, a woman reported Cutter after he asked to photograph her son in a public park, just randomly. Cutter was removed from the sex offender registry in 2011. Don't ask me why. The 61-year-old was charged with peeping while using a photographic image device, peeping while possessing a device capable of creating a photographic image and some other charges. He posted a $17,000 bail after spending approximately 10 hours in jail. And the first thing I have to say about this whole story is this guy will never stop. He has had a history his entire life of doing perverted, sick, voyeuristic shit with children. And no matter what his sentence is, Mike, he will get out and continue to do it.
You said that was North Carolina?
This guy is sick.
It's North Carolina, right, Charlotte?
Yes.
I would have thought the state of North Carolina would have had stricter laws and would have put them in, and then they removed.
Yeah, I didn't think you could get removed from a registry, but maybe after so long in some states you can. But
do we
that
know how
in and
much,
of itself doesn't matter because people aren't walking around with registries on their phone where, and this guy being in a bathroom videoing somebody, whether he's on the registry or not, he's going to be able to do that.
True.
I don't know what the solution is here, but the fact that he has had so many prior charges related to kids and he's still roaming free and still continuing to do it over and over again, I don't think he'll ever stop.
No, he won't unless he's
61.
put away for a very long time, which it sounds like it's probably not going to be the case. I don't know if they say how long.
Potentially, his bond was only, his bail was 17 grand, which you pay what 20% of that. So he had to come up with, less than $2,000 to get out of jail. Just the charges probably should.
And you see
the crime doesn't fit the charges
over and over again, and it seems to me it's the crime where the punishment across just how many of these stories have we done? The punishment seems so misaligned with the crime because it's a sickness. They're going to repeat, as you said. Who knows how many kids' lives this guy's already impacted, and let's face it, that impact is forever. Mm-hmm. They live with that the rest of their lives, and many of them don't live well with it the rest of their lives, but yet they don't. But shit, California's so crazy on some of this stuff. They advance the minor attracted persons description. Are you kidding me? And I mean, they're almost trying to decriminalize these man-child relationships. It just, I don't know, scenario like that. If, and I guess it was somebody else's kid, but if you were that dad in that bathroom while that was happening, I don't know how that guy got back to the parking lot to his car.
He apparently ran into someone with a lot better Zen attitude than I have.
Well, let's go see another sicko. And this sicko's in Florida. Authorities in Florida arrested a suspect who allegedly attacked another man with a machete amid a dispute about looking through text messages. He apparently just did not want the other guy looking at his texts. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office said Douglas Albert Fullerton, 24 years old, was caught going through his roommate's phone last Monday night at their home in Brooksville, Florida. When the victim found him and confronted him about it, Fullerton went and grabbed a machete before he returned and hit the victim in the face, police said. They said the victim claimed that he grabbed the blade to prevent Fullerton from striking him again, and that Fullerton then dropped the machete. He retrieved a silver knife from the kitchen and returned to continue stabbing the victim. When the victim turned and attempted to run away, he felt the knife hit his back. The sheriff's office said the victim was able to escape to a bathroom and called 911. The 911 dispatcher could hear Fullerton clearly yelling from outside that bathroom door. Quote, "Tell them you got into an accident. I don't want to go back to jail." The victim eventually attempted to flee the residence, but Fullerton was nearby and began chasing him. So now he's chasing him through his neighborhood. The victim was able to get to a neighbor's house and get that neighbor to let him inside. Once he was in the neighbor's home, he lost sight of Fullerton, so there were some anxious minutes as the guy with the knife is patrolling the neighborhood looking for you, and he sees you get into a neighbor's house. The victim remained at the neighbor's until deputies arrived. After being transported to a local hospital, he received medical attention for a deep laceration to his face, fractures to several facial bones, and cuts to his hands and his back. Deputies remained at the scene and searched for Fullerton with the help of both drone units and a canine, but were initially unsuccessful. An arrest warrant was subsequently issued for Fullerton for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. He also had an active warrant for violation of probation on a possession of controlled substance charge. Police said Fullerton and the victim were in a romantic relationship. According to Hernando County detention records, Fullerton has had prior arrests that included drug possession, resisting arrest, and probation violation. On Tuesday, deputies received a tip about Fullerton's whereabouts, and they were able to take him into custody without incident.
Good.
He did not have his machete when the officers got to him.
Yeah, and you mentioned something in that story about them using drones in an effort to capture this guy, and that is becoming a lot more common. Even here in the state of Louisiana, in the smaller departments, they are training officers to use drones, and it doesn't replace the helicopter, obviously, but very efficient and a lot cheaper than flying a helicopter. You will have situations where you need that, such as car chases.
Sure.
A drone ain't going to keep up with that, but for these type of crimes in this situation, that was a big advantage. Using those drones,
And
but all over a text message.
Available as well. So,
yep, absolutely. Canines will be around forever.
and this guy looks like a complete whack job.
Yeah, he looks like. I mean, some people just fit the crime. He definitely fits it.
He be fitting that crime.
But man, people, how many stories have we reported lately where it's just things that you should just let go? And like going through someone's text messages. I mean, this guy now has ruined his life. Why don't you just take the phone back and it be over with? But, sad, really.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Holiday magic is in the air at iFly Indoor Skydiving. Imagine unwrapping the experience of flight. iFly is the perfect unique gift for anyone who wants to turn their dream of flying into a joyful reality. It's unforgettable fun for all ages. Save over 35% with iFly's limited-time holiday gift voucher flight packages. Turn dreams into unforgettable moments with the gift of flight. Go to iFlyWorld.com to purchase your holiday gift vouchers. That's iFlyWorld.com.
Well, we're gonna bring you to Sugarloaf, California. You familiar with Sugarloaf?
Sugarloaf, California.
Sugarloaf, California sounds like a nice place, anyway. But it's over by Big Bear. You know where Big Bear is?
We've been to Big Bear a number of times, so Sugarloaf must be. Oh, it must be one of the other resorts. There's a couple of ski resorts there they're smaller resorts like
Okay.
Big Bear.
Well, we're going to tell you about just a horrible situation from there. And deputies have arrested a 26-year-old man after he abducted a teen, held the juvenile hostage for days, and forced her to have sex with him. Deputies from the Big Bear Lake Sheriff Station responded to a call on March 7th after a 17-year-old female had escaped Zachary DeRusso's locked car while the man was at work. On March 1st, around 8 p.m., DeRusso picked up the juvenile and drove her to his home. He reportedly requested sex from her, but she refused. DeRusso held the teen hostage in his home for almost a week. DeRusso failed to provide the victim with adequate food and water. He would not allow the victim to leave and forced her to consume large amounts of alcohol. DeRusso forced the victim to have sex with him in exchange for her freedom. DeRusso brought the girl with him while driving to work and held her inside his locked vehicle during the day. The victim escaped and went to a local business seeking help. That prompted employees to call the sheriff's office. Deputies located DeRusso at his home and took him into custody. He was booked into the Big Bear jail and charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, and statutory rape.
My God, where the hell did the guy work?
It's a great question.
You're in a car and lock her up while you're at work. I mean, it's Big Bear and it's still technically winter.
And that's
So
kind of a mountainous
yeah,
region.
it's when you it's out toward what do you call it? Oh my God, Mike, how many years are you out of fucking California? It's out near the desert, near Palm Springs. You actually look out from Palm Springs and you see the mountain that Big Bear sits at the top of. So it's like an hour and a half outside of LA. But it's a really, it's not the big West coast kind of, Rocky Mountain kind of skiing. California's got some great mountains like Mammoth or up Lake Tahoe, but this is a smaller one. It's a day trip kind of place, and there aren't that many. There's locals and then people that rent cabins there and rent places. So it's pretty remote.
Yeah,
There's
and
like one windy road that gets you up there.
Former UFC fighter named Tito Ortiz,
Yeah.
he used to train in Big Bear. That's where his training camps would be.
I think
And he liked the altitude.
Tyson did at one point too. I think
Okay.
Tyson did for a period of time, but locking her in your car,
Yeah, just
holding her for a week.
another horrible story. So we'll move on. And is it dumb criminal time?
It's always dumb criminal time.
We've talked about a lot of dumb ones today.
Yeah, these guys are sort of a cross between dumb and hysterically funny criminals. So I'm going to post this video. I came across this story while I was scrolling through TikTok, and it's got tons of views, justifiably so. And so the story comes from parts unknown because there's no consensus in the original post or anywhere about where the officers are from or where these guys are, and you can't get a good look at a license plate in order to see. People are actually voting online and declaring West Virginia the victor, but I'm not so sure this happened in West Virginia, but or that's very fair to West Virginians. But anyway, so parts unknown. It was all revealed in the release, which is a release of an officer's body cam footage on TikTok, as I said, although they don't tell us the officer's name nor where they are. In the video, the cop pulls up on a rural highway, and across on the side of the road, he sees a couple of large, and I mean really, really large men. I'd say one that weighed at least 400 pounds and another that weighed over 500 pounds. And they are... And these two guys are in the bed of a pickup truck drinking. So you see them in the bed of the pickup truck, and they're sitting and they're chugging beers. And so there's another guy that you can't really see who's in the front driver's seat of that pickup. So the cop gets on the radio and says, quote, "Let's pop over to these guys and see what's going on," because there's another cruiser pulling up behind him. So the cop pulls up and tells the two large men in the truck bed to tell the driver to, quote, "hang out real quick," because it appears like he's getting ready to drive off. A moment later, the driver hits the gas, and it's a dirt road, and so it's really soft dirt. So all of this dirt goes flying up into the air. The tires are spinning like crazy, and so you got dust and dirt and spinning tires, and the 400-pound guy goes flying off the back of the truck. But somehow, as he goes flying off the back of the truck, he lands upright. It's like when you watch it on the video, it's like, how the hell did that guy land on his feet? But he lands on his feet. The really big one, the really big guy, falls flat inside the bed of the truck. So he just falls down flat. The truck pulls across the road, and you see the really large guy sprawled out with the lower part of his legs dangling outside the rear of the truck. The cop sees this and says, "Okay." Then he sees the smaller fat guy come running back after the truck, chasing it down the dirt road. To this, the cop says again, casually, "Okay." The second cruiser pulls up as all of this is happening and radios to the first cop, quote, "I don't even want to ask what that was." The first cop then pursues in his cruiser down the dirt road behind the pickup, and as he does, he replies into his radio, quote, "This is some hillbilly shit." At this point, both of the large men are in the bed of the pickup, and as the chase ensues down the dirt road, the smaller of the two guys begins to throw beer cans at the cruiser. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20. Beer cans are just bouncing off of the cruiser. He's just tossing beer can after beer can at the cop. Over the radio, you hear, quote, "Are they throwing those cans at you?" The first cop responds, that's the guy in the second cruiser asking the question. He says, "Yeah, they're chucking cans, but the fat boy in the back is hilarious. He's trying to hold on for dear life." And you can see that the guy's getting bucked around like crazy. The second cop laments and says, "Oh God, I'm missing this whole show." The video ends a few seconds later. And I can't find any more information on this story anywhere, and I'm not the only one frustrated, as tons of people have offered commentary on TikTok. One guy lists all the crimes he witnessed from this thing. We got fleeing and evading, we got littering, we got obstruction of governmental procedures, we've got likely possible DUI for the driver, we've got public endangerment, we've got reckless driving. Another said, quote, "Just some good old boys, never meaning no harm." Another guy added to the crimes list, "We got public drunkenness, we got open containers, and since they are hillbillies, most likely armed while intoxicated, while in public and in a vehicle." Someone else said, "Wonder how many pairs of cuffs it took to get fatty. That's some real hog tying." Another guy summed it all up better than I can. "Some really freaky looking fat guys drinking beer. The police come. Fat guys take off in their pickup truck. A chase ensues. Beer cans are thrown. Ha ha ha. It's Deliverance meets Smokey the Bandit." I might have to add some banjo music to this. That's the actual quote of the guy on TikTok. That's not me. I might have to add some banjo music. So, Jim, add some banjo. We'll post the video, guys. It's you have to see it.
There you go. Dumb criminals throwing beer cans. Not a good idea. Throw beer cans at the cops. Ever. All right, we got a mile high crime for Monday. And look, I didn't even realize this was a scam going on at airports, but apparently there's a lot of fake Uber and Lyft drivers, and they have busted a ton of them at the Miami International Airport soliciting rides. The Miami-Dade County Commissioner recently amended their ordinance to make the penalty stiffer for those caught soliciting rides and claiming they are Uber or Lyft drivers. They actually had an undercover sting operation, and before the sun came up on Saturday, this past Saturday, they had 4 vehicles already that were claiming to be Lyft and Uber drivers that were not. It was a joint operation between Miami-Dade Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division and the Miami-Dade Police Department. They come here in the morning, they come in the afternoon, and they come at night, police said. When asked if the illegal drivers know they shouldn't be doing that, police replied, of course. You can see it in their faces when we ask them if they're legit drivers. One driver who had already been busted once was issued a trespass warning and ordered not to return unless he was traveling, was caught a second time. And the second time he was caught, they actually took him to jail. These people, we don't know their background. We don't know if they're felons. We don't know if they have a driver's license. We don't even know if they have insurance on the vehicle, police said. And now they're coming to Miami International Airport to solicit and pick up people outside the platform. We don't want our residents and tourists to be harmed by people who we don't even know who they are. And I get that. The driver of a blue Hyundai Elantra had a fake Uber and Lyft sign on their windshield when they were caught. They buy it online, police said, to get the attention of the consumer and make it more official. If you get in the car with one of these drivers, the ride is not tracked as it would be if you're using an app. Getting busted will be extremely costly to those illegal drivers, however. Each of these drivers will be getting 2 citations, 2 civil violations of up to $1,010 each, plus their vehicles are impounded. Since January of 2023, police have actually done 28 of these undercover operations in the Miami-Dade airport. And get this, a total of 102 vehicles have been impounded. So over 100 vehicles, y'all, and it's only March. In order to do this legally, drivers must have a county license, pass a vehicle inspection, undergo training, pass a background check, and provide proof of insurance. So you don't have to necessarily drive for Uber or Lyft, but you have, if you are not driving for Uber or Lyft, you have these regulations you have to follow via Miami's laws. And some of these people are just like pulling up and saying, hey, you need a ride, and this is how much I'm going to charge you. And what blows my mind is I've traveled before, and I've used Lyft and Uber during my travels. And, one of the best things is the convenience of prepaying, right? So if you're not a legit driver, I guess these people are jumping in like it's a taxi.
What they're doing. So this is an age-old problem. In New York City, for years, there were what were known as gypsy cabs. And so these are cabs that were not part of the Taxi and Limousine Commission, which is the body that oversaw all the taxis in New York. But if you flew into Kennedy or LaGuardia and you needed to get a cab into the city, sometimes there'd be a cab line of 100 people waiting for taxis, and they're not being any taxis to pick up anybody. So you could have an hour wait to get a taxi, and so you'd have these guys walking through the baggage claim area, need a ride, going to Manhattan, need a ride, and look, I mean, I did it a number of times. I mean, if you don't have an hour to sit there and wait online for a cab, you cut a deal with a guy, and you hope that
he's not a serial killer.
You hope that you get where you have to get. So right. This seems like just the next incarnation of that. Trying to work around the rules of Lyft and Uber, and also work around the restrictions. Probably, good chance that you got a lot of illegals doing that, and I don't know if it's costly to get the whatever you have to get from Miami to be licensed to do it. It may be expensive to do that, and people avoiding it that way. But it's always safe because people generally don't order the Uber until they at least see their the baggage carousel start to spin or something, because they don't want the Uber to come before they actually have their bags. Yeah. And so it's working the baggage claim area discreetly that you end up being able to pick up a fare. And so I'm sure that's what they're doing. I'm surprised they're cracking down that hard on it because.
Right, and some of those people, that when you drive for Uber or Lyft, you have they take a percentage. Obviously, they have to make justify their side of their company, and some of these people may just be trying to avoid the percentage and be law-abiding citizens. Otherwise, they just don't want to pay over 30% or whatever it is.
Sure.
But it's not only the convenience factor; it's also the safety factor. And these with Uber and Lyft, these people are screened. You have to turn over your driver's license. You have to show proof of insurance, a very important thing. So there's all these things that you can't get outside of that unless you're. Miami apparently offers a way for you to do it through the city, but I'm sure they charge a fee too. So anyway, I did not realize.
We still see crime involved with Lyft and Uber.
Oh, sure you do.
I had I don't know if it was Lyft or Uber, but I had a driver in Fort Worth a couple of weeks ago tell me that she was driving a car owned by either Uber or Lyft bought her the car. And I'd never heard of that before. Never heard of that either. So the way the deal works is she's driving under their insurance, not her own. Yeah. It's their vehicle that, and so all of the financials of that are worked into however her deal works. With Uber, but she is allowed to use the car for a limited number of personal miles a month. And wow. I mean, it sounded like a heck of a deal. And it was a young single mom who had a nice SUV and, she had a young son that she had to take to and from school. And so it seemed like, they're really working hard to try and do some things for their employees. I'd never heard of that.
No doubt. Well, there you go. That's your Mile High Crime for today. And that brings us to the end of another monumental episode of Real Life Real Crime Daily.
Technically, that was at ground level, not mile high, but.
Sure it was. Well, we weren't a mile high in the air, but it was an airport crime.
Well, I know. I'm just saying we weren't a mile high in the air.
No.
Technicality.
No, there's kind of slow news in the actual air these past few days in airports.
Well, the new is it Tesla that's making it? That next year they're releasing the first model line of that flying car.
I did not.
Yeah. You don't want to be one of the early adopters of the flying car, I don't think. First of all,
the Jetsons.
To be an early adopter of the flying car, I think is going to cost something like $2 or $3 million just to get.
Yeah, you'd be the only one.
The vehicle, and not you don't want, just like you don't want that first model year of the vehicle after it's gone through a major change. So
right.
let them perfect the flying car before we're all doing that.
Well, there you go.
You do want to see one.
You get it all here.
I do want to see one, though. Don't you want to just be driving down the road and have a flying car?
I mean, I'd love to try it out, but I'm like you. Let it work its kinks out first.
I'd rather have the submarine car first.
Yeah. Well, they already.
I know they've had those, but those are all like one-off things. There's nobody who's done off an assembly line a amphibious car.
Right.
Those would be really handy around here.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
Forget that bridge. Just go cross the Mississippi in your amphibious vehicle, Jim. I'll talk to Woody. Woody might get one of those. I could convince him to do it.
Get all the news here, folks, and then some. All right.
Except I can't tell you about Princess Kate, although I know what's going on.
Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Mike Agavino.
And for Woody Overton, we're Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe's Because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.